The second point we'd make to you is turn every piece of study into a question. Always be answering questions. And you'll always find questions at the end of a textbook or examination questions or whatever. But always be answering questions, or always be finding answers that you can answer questions to. Now, if we take a look here, for example, at your textbook, and I said to you earlier, your textbook is a huge source of information and very important. It's only effective if you approach the textbook with a question in mind. And if you don't have a question, well, then find a question that you can answer that's appropriate to that part of the textbook that you're studying. You'll find questions at the end of the textbook, and you'll find questions, of course, in your exam papers that relate to that part of the textbook that you're studying. But you'll find you'll be much more focused and much more efficient if you take on this strategy of answering questions while you're using your textbook. The next thing is note-taking. We're going to be talking to you about the importance of note-taking in just a few moments, but in terms of answering questions, what we'd suggest to you there is, if you divide your page of notes into two, left and right, and on the right-hand side you have your notes taken, we'd suggest on the left-hand side, draw a margin, and on the left-hand side, down the middle, and on the left-hand side, you have answers that are appropriate to the notes that you've taken on the right-hand side. So when you go and revisit your notes, you can cover your notes and look at the question and see if you can come up with the answer. By the way, always try and come up with the answer, obviously, without referring to your textbook or without referring to your notes. In other words, what's very important here is you're testing yourself. You're always testing yourself. The use of flashcards are very good for the very reason that they're very convenient to bring around with you. And on one side you can have the question, and you can't see the answer because your answer is written on the back. So you'll write the answer to the question on the back. And if you're travelling in a car or something like that, you can bring your flashcards along, look at the question, don't dare look at the answer until you go through it in your mind and you're satisfied that you have given the answer fully, or that you've got stuck in the answer, then turn around and look at the answer on your flashcard. Many of you use an iPod or MP3 player. Why not use this piece of technology to your study, turn it to an advantage in terms of your study behaviour? And what you could do is record, for example, a question and answer session. So you have a question, you read in the question, you pause, and then you give the answer. So when you're, for example, listening to your iPod, you might give 5 minutes here and there listening to these questions and answers, and you play the question and you pause, see if you can give the answer, and then play the answer. That's also an excellent way of tapping into the power of this question and answer reflex mode, and you're using the technology to your advantage.